Have you ever looked at someone you love, a best friend, a sibling, even your partner, and felt this tiny, uncomfortable thought creep in? Why does their life seem to be working out so well? And then immediately after that thought, your brain panics. Wait, why am I thinking this? I love them. Am I a bad person? Relax. You're not evil. You're human. Today, we're talking about something no one likes to admit out loud. Envy in close relationships. Not toward strangers. Not toward celebrities. But toward the people you care about the most. And yeah, it gets awkward. Let's start with a simple truth. Envy doesn't show up where there's no emotional connection. You don't envy a random person on the street. You might admire them, ignore them, or forget them in 5 seconds. But envy needs closeness. It needs comparison. It needs, that could have been me. That's why it hits hardest in close relationships. Think about it. Your friend gets a promotion. You clap, you smile, you say, "I'm so happy for you." And you mean it. But later that night, while brushing your teeth, your brain goes, "Okay, but why them and not me?" Now you're standing there with toothpaste foam and existential confusion. Here's what's really happening. Our brains are comparison machines. They're constantly asking one question. How am I doing compared to people like me? And people like me usually mean same age, same background, same struggles, same dreams. In other words, close relationships. If a celebrity buys a Lamborghini, your brain shrugs. If your best friend buys a car better than yours, your brain goes, "Excuse me, what is this behavior?" Because closeness removes excuses. When someone close to you succeeds, it challenges the story you tell yourself about your own life. Suddenly you can't say, "Oh, they had more advantages," or "That's a totally different world." No, they're from your world. And that's where envy sneaks in. But here's the part nobody tells you. Envy isn't always about wanting what they have. Sometimes it's about fearing what their success says about you. Let's say your friend starts a business and it takes off. You don't actually want their business. What hurts is the thought, maybe I didn't try hard enough. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe I'm falling behind. Envy loves those thoughts. It whispers, "You're running out of time." Now let's talk about relationships, because this gets even spicier there. In romantic relationships, envy can show up in very sneaky ways. Your partner starts getting attention, compliments, recognition. Suddenly you feel proud and weirdly irritated. You start noticing things you never cared about before. You feel insecure for no clear reason. And your brain says, "What if I'm not enough anymore?" That's not envy of their success. That's fear of losing your place. Close relationships create emotional mirrors. When they shine, we see ourselves more clearly. And sometimes we don't like the reflection. Now here's an important twist. Envy often points to unfulfilled desires. The thing you envy usually highlights something you want but haven't allowed yourself to chase. Maybe you buried that dream. Maybe you told yourself it was unrealistic. Maybe life got busy. So when someone close achieves it, envy shows up like, "Hey, remember me?" That's why envy feels uncomfortable. It's not just jealousy. It's grief for the version of yourself that didn't get a chance. Let's add some light humor here, because otherwise this is getting emotionally expensive. Have you noticed how envy makes us extremely good at fake positivity? You say things like, "So proud of you. Wow, amazing. Couldn't have happened to a better person." Meanwhile, your inner voice is like, "Okay, but also rude." That doesn't make you fake. It makes you emotionally complex. Another funny thing, envy makes us overanalyze tiny details. Your friend succeeds and your brain suddenly becomes a detective. They got lucky. They had help. They knew the right people. Your brain is desperately trying to protect your self-esteem like, "Relax, buddy, we're still valuable." Because that's what envy really threatens, your sense of worth. Now, let's clear something important. Feeling envy does not mean you want the other person to fail. That's resentment. Envy is different. Envy says, "I wish I had that too." Resentment says, "I wish you didn't have it." Most people feel envy and then feel guilty about it and then never talk about it. And then it quietly turns into distance. Friendships fade. Conversations feel forced. Support feels heavy. All because no one said, "Hey, this brought up some stuff in me." Here's the healthiest way to look at envy in close relationships. Envy is information. It's your mind pointing at something important. something you value, something you might want to work toward. Instead of judging it, you can ask, what is this showing me about myself? What do I feel behind on? What am I afraid of? When you do that, envy loses its power. It stops being poison and starts being a signal. And here's the final thing most people miss. The people you envy the most are often the ones who inspire you the most. That's not a coincidence. Your brain doesn't envy random achievements. It envies what feels reachable, what feels relevant, what feels personal. So next time you feel that uncomfortable twist in your chest when someone you love succeeds, don't panic. You're not a bad friend. You're not a bad partner. You're not a bad person. You're just a human, watching someone close live a version of life you care about. And if you listen carefully, that envy might be trying to tell you exactly where your next growth starts. Funny how the people we love the most end up teaching us the most uncomfortable but important things about ourselves.